Let's go. Hey. Good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your host, A.D. Walker, pusher, the growth, the motivator. What up? Mama McCory in the building. Appreciate you for being here. I feel like there we go. I can hear myself. I've gotten adjusted to hearing myself now. So when I don't hear myself, something is wrong. So I got to turn it up enough in the ear. So listen, what I need to do right now, not now, but right now, is to make sure you are sharing. Sharing is caring. And let everybody know that the Brothers of Legacy are on today. Listen, we're going to have a great broadcast. The worst things about these broadcasts is the fact that I'm always like reading or listening to something. Okay, ain't I talking to you, Siri? So I'm always listening or watching something, and the worst is to listen to something right before I come on when I already have a topic. And it's like it gets to me and I want to just talk about it. And then sometimes I think passes in the building. Sometimes I just call it an all audible because I'm like, all right, this thing right here, it's pressing and we need to go ahead and discuss it. But I'm not. I'm gonna hold it, keep it a little bit. I wrote some notes down. We're gonna get into it at a different time because it's a whole nother area of conversation. But it's something that's been talked about a lot. I feel like we have a solution to it. So let's Pastor just said I'm blurry. Yeah, I am. No, this episode is brought to you by Spectrum. If you want the best in blurry live streams, Spectrum is where you need to be. I don't care what Kevin on stage has said in advertisements. Spectrum is not space if you want a crisp, clean live stream. Yes, I said it. I did. Thank you, Spectrum. We love you. Keep charging us. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get to it. Oh, and hold on. What did you say, Jeff? Jeff said it's blurry and audio choppy. Oh, I'm loving it this morning. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. It's all Spectrum. All right, so let's go ahead and get this off so we can get some other brothers in. You're right. There you go. I'll put that up. Yes, Spectrum. Not to be confused with Comcast, but would it really be any different? Okay, so let's go. Let's remove this. Kick this off. All right. Let's see. That's when you know this has happened so much. I just flow right into it now. Doesn't even pause me. Used to. I get upset. I'm looking like, okay, am I good guy? I'm just gonna keep going. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm really gonna work on another service as well because I feel like StreamYard has a little bit to do with this as well. All right. So let's go ahead. So I said one step up from cricket. I might be messing with this cell phone service because it's kind of inexpensive right now. I don't know. All right, so AT&T hasn't been good either, but we're gonna just stick to Spectrum today. Tomorrow we'll talk about AT&T. All right, that's it. We're gonna kick off again. Welcome to the Brothers of Legacy. I'm your host, A.D. Walker. We're going to have a wonderful conversation today. We're talking about how to not get stuck in a financial struggle. Now, understand, I have my man, Matt Genius, the licensed therapist coming through, and you're wondering what in the Sam Hill does licensed therapy have to do with being stuck in a financial struggle? We're going to dig into that. I'm hoping you asked that question. So anybody that's seen the thumbnail, like, wait, he's an LMFT. Ain't that a licensed therapist? Indeed. So we're gonna get into the mental blocks when it comes to financial struggles. All right, let's go. Let's start. I'm gonna stop yapping. Probably still breaking up because I can see that StreamYard showing me my signal is weak. All right.
Boom. You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Good times. Oh, I need to put my people in. It's supposed to be automatic. All right, there you go.
Hey, brought to you by Spectrum.
There we go.
Good morning, Pastor. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday,
Morning.
man. Good
Happy
morning,
Wednesday.
BOL family.
Appreciate you. Yes.
Yes, indeed. Appreciate you guys for being here.
Spectrum is going to improve your clarity so that you will
Yes,
stop
indeed.
running the bus over them.
Right.
Right. right. And just want to point out, I just paid them folks yesterday. I just paid them yesterday. For anybody with the jokes like, maybe you need to pay, I just paid them yesterday. All right. So we're going to get into this. How to not get stuck in a financial struggle. First off, get rid of Spectrum. Then we're going to get into all right, that's it. I'm done. So we talk about sometimes when financial struggles happen, we can get up mentally. We can get stuck in a space where I got to do what I got to do to earn. I got to figure it out, and we go through the stresses and the ups and downs, and it can affect your relationships. Friendships. It's just you can get into a space where you don't want to be bothered. You just can't get out of it because you're so focused on your finances that you can't move forward. And you have to produce, you have to create, but it's like this financial struggle has left you in a paralyzed state. I don't know if you guys have been there a couple times, just stuck. It's like I just want to roll up in the bed and just disappear. But we all know that's not going to help anything. It's not going to change nothing. It's not going to make anything better. So today we're going to I wanted to kind of dig into those feelings. Got Matt on just to kind of break down how to kind of come out of that and some of the things we've done personally to come out of that. So for you guys, I'm gonna go to Pastor, and if you've listened long enough, some of his ups and downs, some of his challenging financial positions he's been in. For you, have you ever crawled into a cave when a financial, I won't say disaster, but maybe it could probably felt like that at the time. Because it's all about perspective. Someone take your last $10, it can be devastating. So when you're going through your financial hit, let's say it that way, did you want to crawl into a cave, or were you to kind of be really vigilant about trying to get out of it? Did you ever have one paralyzing moments?
I have had some grave financial hiccups in my life early on, through mistakes, through neglecting to be who I was called to be, and I was the sluggard. The Bible says, "Be like the ant." I was the sluggard.
Right. Hey, good morning.
But I never, ever, never. This is just me.
Okay.
I was never in a cave. I was always willing to fight and drive and keep it. Like I worked for free until I got paid.
Right.
So yeah, I never experienced. I think for me, it's just because I watched my mother work too hard.
Wow.
As a single parent, and so there was never a quit attitude. I mean, I may stop doing a job to go do another job, but there was never, an attitude of I'm not going to do anything. I'm just mad. I'm frustrated, so I'll just sit here. Nah, that was never me. I was too hungry. I had to eat. I've been in a homeless shelter, and I fought to get out of it. You know what I mean? So no.
Gotcha. So what about you, Matt? Have you ever been in that space, or you kind of fought through it?
Yeah, this is such every show, man. Every time I have a chance to be a part of this conversation, I feel so honored and privileged, because these are conversations that I hope more brothers would talk about on a consistent basis, to make sure that we're not harboring these emotions on the inside. Keeping them in keep us sick, keep us mentally sick, spiritually sick,
Right.
and so it kind of divides us if we don't have these conversations, and then kind of project out as negative emotions sometimes. And so, yes, listen, man, like I got fired a lot growing up. And of course, listen, I will always say it. It was never I was never at fault. That's what I'll always say. But my previous employees might have other things to say. But there was one particular circumstance where it was just the right formula to put me in a really, really negative state. And there was so much going on at that one time that I did have to go out and seek counseling because of where my mind state was with all that was going on. It was so much going on.
Right.
First of all, my wife was pregnant with the triplets at that time. I had just started a new job, and in the process of working this new job, right before I started this new job, I was put out of my PhD program for family therapy. I was in a PhD program, and I got put out of the program based on where my mental and emotional state was already. I had lost a friend to suicide the end of my first semester. So you can see the compounded issues that was going on at one point in time. And so, yes, that fight is in all of us, Pastor, but man, they had my number that day. They had my number. And so with all that was going on, brought about such an intense emotion to be a man, in this society of what we say a man is, and to have a family, to be a husband, to be a father. And then my triplets were born. And then 6 months after they were born, I got fired from my job. Yeah, I got fired from my job. Thank you. I'm telling you now, hindsight is always 2020. Probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. But at that time, being in the thick of it, I did not see it as that. No, I didn't see it as that. I was frustrated. I was angry. I was in a place of despair. But one of the things that I learned is that I had to still see value in my manhood and my fatherhood and me as a husband, and learning that my contribution to my family and to my environment isn't just financial, And so, man, I became super dad. My wife gracefully was in a position where she can go back to work sooner. Nice. And so I stayed home for the next 6 months with the triplets and my eldest daughter. So I was, daddy daycare, at the house with my kids. But let me tell you how serious I took it. Anywhere I've ever been employed, one of the best things about, me being an employee is that I'm going to give you 1,000%. I'm going to make sure everything is on point. So this was my opportunity to contribute in a way that I think a lot of men don't necessarily see value in. So you better believe when my wife came home, the house was clean. My kids were, they were all fed, and they were all healthy, And so I took that time. So I took that time so serious. Like, it was such a joy for me to spend quality time with my kids, and the value that, that I felt, the value that my wife felt, the value that I was able to pour into my kids was second to none. And so, yes, the financial part may have been lacking, but to compensate, not even to compensate, just to do what we're supposed to do in those other areas brought about another value that sometimes we just don't tap into. When we feel like we can't give in one way, then you have to find other ways that we are naturally, capable of pouring into, that sometimes we don't lean into. And so, I mean, it really helped bring about a different type of father, a different type of husband, a different type of man in me, being challenged financially and learning how to pour into my family in other ways.
Well, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I won't say
wild. Like,
I didn't want to quit.
Right.
I'm just saying I didn't.
Right.
I wanted to run, man.
Yeah. That anger is there. The disappointment, the shame, and of course, when we are still in tune to what others are saying, it bothers you. Oh man, you ain't working, bro. Oh, Family members alike, friends alike. They be like, bro, you just got triplets, son. You just
Thanks.
I appreciate you.
I heard a man say, This preacher in Metro Atlanta, Dallas Wilson, said this one day. He said that he was in the basement of his home. He was in a financial crunch some years ago, and he was depressed because his house was about to be foreclosed.
Wow.
That's how deep he was financially. Right. And he said, I was sitting in the basement, just in a funk, looking around like, Lord, what am I going to do if my house gets foreclosed upon? And he said, the Lord answered me so plain and said, move.
Right.
But what was so profound about it, it took me, when he was giving this testimony, you know, you could hear the I have no answer emanating from his spirit, right?
Right.
And sometimes when you have no answer, you have no movement. Right. Yeah. And so to me, lack of movement is not a killer. Right. The lack of a desire to move.
Okay.
You understand?
Like you in your car, you're trying to turn it.
Sometimes you don't know what you're gonna do. You know,
right.
Do anything for that moment.
Right.
You pause and you ponder. Right. And you await direction or for something to shift because you might move in the wrong direction.
Indeed.
Right. Yeah. So you can't mistake being immobile with a lack of a desire to want to move. Right.
That's good. What's up, Kaneem? Good morning, sir.
Morning, gentlemen. How you gentlemen doing this morning?
Morning.
All is well. So again, with how to not get stuck in a financial struggle. So Kaneem, going through your trials, tests, ups and downs, big wins, big losses. When you're in those spaces where the finances just ain't right, things ain't coming together, were you one of those that crawled into a cave, or you kind of pressed through and kind of like Pastor, he put that in between? He's like, well, I didn't say I didn't want to quit. I just didn't. I just kept rolling over like, I'm tired, this ain't working, but I gotta keep moving. So when you're in that space, like how did you handle it? Did you get to the emotions like, I don't want to fool with nobody right now? Because why is it, this quick question, side note, why is it sometimes that's like I said, the second or third question when you meet somebody, hey, so what do you do? What kind of work you do? What you into? I mean, and it's like a natural, and if it's in the business work, I get it, but kind of like, you kind of get to that question, hey, so what you kind of, especially now, granted, especially if they got something shiny, or they ride like a Tesla, or if they roll up in a Lambo, like, oh, what you doing, brother?
Right.
What you into? So because let's keep it real. We always thinking like if they rolling up in something like a Rolls Royce, like, oh, what you got going on? Like, let's chat. What you got a secret? You just work this thing out. Or this money just dropped in you. I sell drugs. Okay. All right, then. Looks like it's working for you. But,
y'all hiring?
You need some help because it looked like your biz is kind of working very well. Like, I know some brothers. Yours is doing well. All right. Anyway, Kaneem, how was your journey? Like, how did you take in the lows when it came to finances?
Oh, shoot.
Hey, Sam. Good morning.
Oh man, morning. You let me tell it. I'm struggling right now. If you gonna let me put it out, let me put it out there.
Right.
Oh, right. Man, I guess I mean, just pushing through, man. I done been without dollars a lot of times. Everything in my pocket made sound. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to that. When your dollars fold up, they don't really make no sound. But I'm walking down the street. This is jingling, ling, 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 jingling, ling. You know what I'm saying? So I done been without a few times. But man, hey, God was on my shoulder, man. I mean, he was behind me, pushing me in in the middle of my back just to keep moving. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that I had a plan. I don't think nobody got a plan when they broke, or nobody got a plan to be broke. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
when you ain't got nothing, you
Right.
kind of like desperate, and you trying to figure out, well, I need to get something, because when I ain't have nothing, and mind you now, when I had to go to this place called Labor Ready, I don't even know if it's still around, but I had to go to this spot called Labor Ready. That's when you at the bottom. Like literally, you got to be there at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the
Wow.
morning, to hope
Wow.
you get a job.
Right.
To hope you get
Gotcha.
a place to go. That, you know what I'm saying? Because you might not get nothing.
Right.
So I mean, it was crazy, man. But my whole thing was I wasn't gonna do nothing criminal. I
Right.
made my mind up. I wasn't gonna do nothing criminal to jeopardize my freedom. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I know if I'm not free, I can't make no money. I don't know nobody who make money in jail. Now, don't get me wrong, unless you got strong ties, you know what I'm saying? Like if you really connected,
Right.
you might, but you ain't really making dollars in jail. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else is you have fear for somebody on the outside to give you money. You're not
Mm.
making money. You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, when you at the bottom, you desperate and you willing to do anything. For myself
Got
now, it's not
Gotcha.
criminal.
I
You
got you.
willing to do anything to get money, man. I mean,
Got you.
picking up cans, doing scrap, cutting
Right.
grass, going door to door, whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? Can I take
Right.
your trash out for $2? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? whatever
And just
it needs to be. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So
Right.
that's just me though. But
Gotcha.
once again, I try not to put myself in those positions. Once
Right.
I've
You trying
learned,
Yeah.
yeah, once I've learned, when you at the bottom, you learn how you got there. When you get to the bottom, you
Mm.
like, how did I get to this spot? Oh, I did
Right.
this stupid thing. Oh, I made this bad choice. Oh, I did.
Right.
Oh, I won't be doing that no more. I won't be doing that
Right.
no more. Oh, okay. So that'll keep me. Now, if it's an act of God and something happened from some outside of what you're doing,
Right.
you don't. If you got an illness,
Yeah.
or something else happened, then that's totally different. But if it's a choice you made or a decision that you made that puts you in that position, then
Right.
it behooves you to learn and move forward. Because if you don't, then you just fool. Oh,
Oh.
what's going on now?
Oh.
Uh, see,
Oh.
now I love
There's a
kids,
twin.
man.
Sorry, we got a little
That's
visitor today,
There's a twin.
oh.
just for a few minutes. Everybody say hi to Ayo. Say hi, Ayo.
Hey, Ayo.
Look, you say hi to Ayo. All I want to say is
Yeah,
Ayo.
exactly. Exactly. So,
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
yeah.
But that's it. That's what I got, brother. You know what I'm saying? When a
Okay.
financial struggle, when you're in desperate
Yeah.
situations, you do what you can to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? And once you
Right.
get a consistent form of income, you kind of stick with it until you find another avenue or another path to do something that you really want to do. At least that's been in my
Right.
experience.
Yeah.
So how? Okay. So let me ask this. And we, as Brothers of Legacy, we talk about legacy. We've gone through our training periods of learning how to deal with certain situations. For the most part, if we lose a lot, or we lost everything, we have a mindset to kind of, okay, boom, where we at? What happened? How can we get back at least square, where we at least decent? We may not be as comfortable, but we can get decent. Do we? Or have you guys? I don't think I have. Maybe in small pieces, but have you trained your kids or talked to your kids about like having those almost survival skills? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happens if you don't have anything? Like if you lose everything, you know, and you like, I'm gone, mom's gone, like your safety net, your come back homeness is like not there. Like, would you know how to pivot, and is there a way to kind of train your children, to be ready for that kind of space? Because one thing I like about Kaneem, because he's learned trades, right? So right now, no matter what happens, there's certain trades he can lean back on. Like, oh, you got a problem with your air conditioner? Let me help you out, brother. Like I can help fix that. Or even because I think like you may have to have like current licenses for certain things, and I'm not sure where he's at with it, but he knows it. So if someone's in a desperate situation, it's like I can service it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can at least get you back running until you maybe get a licensed professional through or whatever. However you set it up, you have the skill. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what to do. You know how to handle it. And I like I respect people that can fix cars. Like that's a skill that everybody's always looking for a mechanic. Someone's gotten stuck on the road. Like, hey, what's wrong? Oh, you just need such and such. Man, I give you $100 if you could just get my car running. Like just get me going.
Yeah.
Be like, I need that 100. Need your car running. We good money. Like,
I did that for my youngest boy. My oldest boy, 19, and he don't have a skill at all. I mean, don't get me wrong. He working at FedEx right now.
Right.
So he's learning to work. He learning the obligation of getting there on time. He learning the obligation of doing, now. But as far as him having a skill that he can take away, I'm not sure, because I don't think he driving forklifts or nothing like that. I think he's just working on the lines, with packages and scanning packages and stuff like that. But as far as his work ethic, he learning that now. But my youngest boy, I got him in a dual enrollment program with West Georgia College, and he in the automotive program. So that'll be it. And he in the 11th grade this year, so next year will be a senior. So he earning college credits, and he also earning knowledge about vehicles, because now most vehicles have computers and everything is software, and he's learning the new age technology of maintenance on automobiles. So that'll be a skill that he could have, what I'm saying, going forward. Even if he don't want to be a certified mechanic, he'll be familiar on how to service his own car or those that are around him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But as far as what you was talking about, survival, if everything just go to about the curse, if everything just go to trash.
There you go.
If everything just go to trash, I can't say that. I can't say that none of my kids would be able to survive, because they don't know that. For one, ain't none of them over 20. You know what I'm saying? So they still kids. And I don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. We done been fishing. We done been. I mean, they know how to. The skills of harvesting, but as far as survival without help or some type of mentorship, they would. I don't think they would survive. Let me say that.
Right, I got you. I know, because we know what we think they know, but then they may surprise us like that. I figured this out. Like, okay,
I mean,
I done hooked this thing up and I done made it work. Like, all right, like, I didn't know you
but
knew.
You give them a knife and tell them to go out there and survive. I'm not sure they would know how to go and kindle wood. I'm not sure if they could start a fire. You know what I'm saying? Without flint, I'm not sure if they could go and catch a rabbit, or I mean, I've done this, but I was in my younger youth. But I had my granddad and show me how to do it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't show my kids how to hunt. I didn't show my kids how to, you know what I'm saying? So that it will be different. And that's why I say I don't think they would, but I would hope they would. But my first mind is saying that they would not.
Right. I get you saying. I got you. What about you guys? Matt, you got the young. How old is your oldest?
Yeah, my oldest is 10. The oldest is 10,
Okay.
and the triplets are 9. So, you know, what I'm teaching my kids and speaking to my kids about are conversations that I didn't get a chance to have with my father that I wish I had with my father. And it's not just about the
Right.
skills that they need to attain. I think it's about the mindset that comes with a scarce mentality, you know, a mentality that things can't replenish, you know, like there isn't a wave of abundance coming your way, you know. And so sometimes when
Right.
we get into a space of struggle, or whether it's financial or any means, what happens is that we get to a state of agreeing with that reality, you know, believing that this is where I am, this is all I know, this is, you know, like we accept the struggle
Right.
as if
Right.
it's a part of our identity, which then perpetuates that struggle into your future. You know, so I think one of the conversations that I'm continuously having with my kids is how to get unstuck in the I can or I don't know. You know, like where do we
Right.
learn that I can and I don't know? We have brain capacity beyond anything that we could imagine. So my job is to unlock that potential now by feeding them the right understandings of what their brain has the capacity to do. You know, there
Right.
are two mentalities that we have. We have a somebody can have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset.
Right.
That growth mindset allows you to always, you know, be able to learn a new skill, a new trade. When I was in grad school, I had people that were twice my age in grad school, and I was old in
Right.
grad school. So, you know, and it was so impressive because it just shows the potential of the brain when you see people still learning new skills, still being able to be hungry. You know, I think Pastor said
Right.
that earlier, not being able to just lay down and be content or accept that reality as if it's truth. It's truth for the moment, but what are we going to do to shift from that position? I think that's what I'm locking in my kid's mind. You know, like, yes, you know, dad, I tell him all the time, dad got fired a lot, you know, like, you know, but that didn't stop me from going and going to, you know, find something else and do something else and use all of my skills, you know, and helping them unlock not just one talent, but having them tap into a variety of skills and sources that already may be inside of them. And so
Right.
trying to change the emotional barriers that are there. When we get
Right.
frustrated, we're not giving our best. You know, when we're mentally exhausted, we can't give our best. Motivation is not there.
Mhm.
But when we have clarity, when we have an idea of hope, of joy, of abundance, then that changes the mental state, which allows you to emote differently and show up differently. Imagine two people show up for an interview.
Right.
One person's like, "Yeah, I already know you're gonna give him that job," you know, and be like, "All right, well, thanks for coming," you know. Another
Right.
person
Right.
that's kind of enthusiastic about just the opportunity for being there. You feel that energy, so it's something that's in
Right.
here that needs to shift. And those are the conversations I have with my kids to make sure that that type of um, frustration of being stuck doesn't stay on them.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's good. That's good.
that is good.
I think that overcoming is a big one. Yeah. Definitely the ants. Yeah, yeah, that's a constant battle, you know, when they say that like, dude, like, you can, you know, like I can never learn this, you know. Oh, that's been mine. I can't. I'm like, you know how to walk, don't you? You didn't
Right.
always know how to walk. Like you'll get this. You'll get this. All right, what about you, Pastor? What are some of the survival principles that you've been
I
teaching?
love what Matt was talking about because again, we talked about this either yesterday or Monday, that fundamentally it doesn't matter because fundamentally your approach should be the same. If you're in a financial
Right,
struggle, that's just one type of struggle. And the way that you fight your way out of that is the same way you fight your way out of any struggle. And I think it goes back to what Matt was talking about earlier, affirmations, the
right,
struggle with that
right,
I can't mentality. So when it comes to
right,
the children, you must begin at a very early age with the imprint of daily affirmations. I
right,
can, I will, I shall,
right,
and
right,
when that becomes the foundation of their train of thought, and I'm talking about as you embrace your day when you wake up,
right,
this is a new opportunity for me to go higher. When that becomes your daily mindset, what happens as you get older is you sometimes you forget those affirmations. I've got my last two in college, and I'm having to remind them of those affirmations because the world kills your affirmation. Right? Situations, people. You know, what did Matt say earlier? Oh man, you got triplets coming and you don't have a job? People do it. They come in and they erase what has been implanted, and you start believing their report.
Right.
That's why when he said you begin to agree with your situation, you know, you're starting to agree with the report that has been put in front of you as opposed to what you know to be true. Right. That's why the old folks, you said you got to know that you know that you know. And so for me, I explained to my children my struggles, and I explained to them how I got out of it. So from a financial perspective, you know, I go, it goes all the way back to the now later candy for finances. Eat some now, save some for later. I never, ever forgot that. Now laters was the greatest gift mentally, not sugary.
Right.
But you eat some now and you save some for later.
Right.
And it's at its most basic tenet. That's what you have to do from a financial perspective with your children.
Right. Definitely. That's good. I wanted to get to a quick comment that Jeff point out. He said, I primarily talk to my kids about the importance of saving and not spending every penny. He said, but we're Jewish, we can't help it. So
I must be Jewish too.
Let's see. Mama Corey says survival is really within. We will be able to do it because we are overcomers. It's all natural.
Absolutely. That's truth. And what's amazing to me is, as true as that is, we can still have an I quit mentality.
Oh yeah.
Right?
100%. 100%.
Yeah, and so I'm not saying it's easy. It's a struggle, man. It really is. And when it comes to finances, what I've learned is I go back to my happy places. Anybody ever go back to your happy place? Man, remember when you were? Remember when you didn't have to? Remember when you know?
Yeah.
It was never the money.
Yeah.
It was never the money.
Yes.
Right. That's definitely my dream, bro. So silly.
Right. It's like when you think about those happy times were never connected to finance.
Right.
They were connected to you embracing a moment emotionally. Yeah. And it didn't have anything to do with how much money was in your pocket.
Right.
You know, it's a low level thinker that says, oh man, back then, boy, we had that money. I don't want to brag about the money I had.
Right.
I want to brag about how far I've come. You know, and so we have to get our priorities in order. The world tricks your mind into believing that it's all about chasing the bag.
Right.
Wow. It's just the truth, you know. But what I've learned, and again, these are. I hope I don't feel like I'm changing the conversation for anyone.
You know we do.
When you're chasing the bag, you can get money.
Right.
And in a lot of cases, when you're going to get it. You can catch whatever you're chasing if you run fast enough, if you run hard enough. If you're chasing the bag, you're going to get the bag. But what will the bag have cost you? Right. And so what I tell my children, what I encourage my children, I want them to make sure that they're chasing their purpose and passion. Right. And money becomes less of a factor because when you're it sounds kludgy and all of that, but the reality is when you're content, contentment is not about how much money you have in the bank. Someone says, that's something broke people say.
Right.
Y'all know that to be true.
It don't matter how much we got in the bank. We're good.
Yeah, that's what people say. It's not like a broke person.
Right.
But check the receipts, man. Check the issues that wealthy people have.
Right.
100%.
So how not to get in a financial struggle? Don't live your life chasing the bag.
Right.
Yeah. 100%.
Listen, man,
100%.
I
Yeah,
kept a lot of
definitely.
receipts. I kept a lot of receipts for these conversations with my kids, and I'm what is known as a personal hoarder. I don't know if you know what that is, man. I keep a lot of things that aren't necessary. So I have like
Right.
like my old job badges, you know,
Not just for feet.
just for feet.
Wow.
I don't know if anybody
Yeah.
remember this one right here.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
That's
I
for
do.
feet. You know,
I
I
do.
don't.
I was in high school working here, and then I you know, some people you got to go south to find this one right here, the Gate
Oh,
gas
Gate.
station.
What? Oh, Gate gas station. No.
It's a gas station right there. And of course, you know, hey, listen, man, stepping up, man.
Holiday Inn.
Select,
There you go.
bro. Select, you know.
Cursive writing. Cursive.
But look, man. I wasn't biased.
Oh.
You know,
I'm loving it.
wherever
loving
it took,
it.
man. You know, I got all
Uh-oh.
type. So I have stories for them to understand that, you know, it's not just about, you know, where and the status or being too good for this, you know, like, man, you know, closed mouth don't get fed, you know, like if you don't work, you don't eat. So it's like there's a part of it where we have to create a pathway for them to understand that you have capacity.
Yeah.
You have capacity. You're built with such capacity. So learn how to utilize your skills to get to go where you want to go in the direction you want to go, to live in the comfort you want to create for yourself. But it's up to you, you know, and all these spaces, what Pastor was saying, these were some great memories.
Yeah.
Like working at these places, I had so much fun. At all of these places. It wasn't about the financial gain or restraints that was offered to me by these positions. It was just the opportunity to learn, to grow, you know, being in those spaces, learning people. I met some brilliant people at these spaces, people that poured into me, you know, people that gave me things that I would not have gained if I wasn't open to receive, you know. The lead chef at the Holiday Inn Select poured into me so much, gave me a great book to read, you know, just pushed me in the right direction, saw more in me. So sometimes it's not just, you know, thinking that we're not good for this assignment. You know, this assignment is beneath me. You know, I can't work here, and you don't know what person might be there waiting for you to bless you in another way, or who you may, you know, encounter there that will open a door for another pathway. So I'm teaching my kids these lessons. Like, look, man, Dad, you like McDonald's? You like McDonald's? Guess what? right?
I was there. I've been there. I've been there.
You see that hotel you like? Guess what? You know, so,
right.
I've made investments.
Right. Oh yeah, the moments they lying. I know what's going on back there. They lying. That's not true. They're not out of that. They lying.
They're eating them fries back
man. Definitely sharing your journeys that it matters, because it makes it more relevant. You know, it's not just you as a parent telling your kids, you know, something that you might not have lived, you know, like, or they feel like that. You don't know, you got this, you're already here. Right. We see you, you know, you got it. It's like, but I had to get here. Like, how do you think I got here? You know, this job, that job, and I learned from this and that, you know, and knowing your journey definitely matters. Knowing your journey definitely matters. You know,
my brother named, I know this brother who posted something. I say it because he posted it publicly. So public information now.
I love it.
His name is Herman Troop, and he posted something on social media the other day. And he said something to the effect of, God is so awesome. I'm home with my family and all my bills are paid.
Wow.
Nice.
And I looked at it. I'm like, that's a man sitting on top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he's proud that his bills are paid. And there's so much to that, man, in this day and age. To say that out loud, to say that publicly, I'm content because all of my bills are paid. Right? Someone would say, that's all you want? What more is there? Right? What I love about the statement is that the Bible says, in whatever state I find myself there with, to be content. I'm content, but I still want more.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm content with where I am. I'm grateful for where I am, but I'm not satisfied. Right. That has to be the attitude. And so I take a moment like that and I freeze it like a Polaroid still picture. right? And I appreciate it because I know what that feels like, right? And some of us, there are certain people that have never had to worry about how their rent is getting paid or how their mortgage is getting paid or how much the light bill even is. They don't even see it. Never had to think about it, and that's great. That's awesome. But that's not everybody.
Right.
So I tell my children, let's not get so caught up in, remember I said the other day, life is not to be measured laterally.
Right.
You can't base your success on the success of your peers. You have to measure your life based on where you started to where you are. Then you can be real with yourself, right? And so if you started with more and today you have less, then you have to recheck your steps. What did I do wrong? That's how you what happened with me when I ended up in transition back in 1990 is I ended up there and I realized, wow, I didn't save enough for this season. I ran out. I was moving from one state to another, and I ended up running out of money before I found the job. Wow. So I didn't plan properly. Right. Does that make sense? So that's on me, right? My family was impacted by that. So I had to pick up the pace and keep pressing and keep going forward to get out of that rut. And then the goal was to make sure I planned better so that if that, like, and another experience was when I'll tell you how I proved I learned my lesson. When I moved from California to Georgia, I resigned from my job in like July of 2004. We had just had a baby. Rachel, my last child, my fifth child, had just been born. And here I am resigning from my job, talking about moving to a whole nother state. People were like, what are you doing? I mean, I had people in the church like, nope, you ain't going nowhere. That doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about? I'm like, I've been led to move my family. They didn't get it. But what I did was I made I was making more money than I had ever made previously in my life at that time. And so we were saving money. I said, okay, if I leave my job now, because I was concerned about taxes hitting me at the end of the year. So if I leave my job now, then I'll be able to benefit from the taxes from the move. Right? Write it off. Move. I had enough money saved. I said, okay, I'll save enough money to be able to last through the year and into next year, so I don't have to worry about finding a job until January of 2005. That's how I planned it financially, right? Right. That's how I applied the lesson from 1990. In 1990, I didn't save enough money for the move. You didn't pack enough food for the trip, right?
Right.
And in 2004, I made sure I packed enough food for the trip, and I ended up getting a hiccup. Now watch this. This is Matt. You'll appreciate this. Ken, you'll appreciate this. I was given an opportunity to stay with someone when I moved to Georgia. And the day after we got here, we were told, I need $700 rent. But the day after I got here, so I'm thinking that someone is extending us, giving us time to look for a house, for me to find a job and all that. And then I got in the state, and within less than 24 hours, the person said, I'm going to need some rent from you. So that impacted what I was saving. Right. Think about that, because now there's a $700 monthly expense that I didn't count on.
And playing for
I have no revenue coming in.
Right.
So I said to my wife, this is what I said. I said, I'm not changing my plan. Because with this move, I anticipated a hiccup, a financial hiccup.
Right.
So I made sure that I saved enough to cover a financial hiccup. Right. And what I told my wife is we will still be diligent about me finding a job. My commitment was I'm going to find a job in January. And guess what? The job I got in January, my wife found it.
Nice.
So you learn the lesson. I know it's a long story, but the lesson was learned, and I was able to apply the lesson learned. We were able to buy us a house and move on. Not that we didn't have any future financial challenges, but we made it through that storm because of the lessons learned. And I share that story with my children. So when they hear stories like that, they will understand that things can happen. And no matter how much you plan, something can still get twisted in the process.
Definitely.
But it's never the end. You said something
Not the
about
end.
like the skin of the world. It's never the end.
Right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
As long as you have breath in your
Never.
body, you have an opportunity. As long as you have movement of you have an opportunity. If your mind still works, you have an opportunity to make it happen. So just keep moving. That's how not to get stuck in the financial struggle.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I wasn't gonna let nothing stop me from survival. I wasn't going back to my mama house. I ain't have no brothers and sisters to lean on. Hey, I mean, you're gonna have to make it happen, young man. Whatever you need to do, you're gonna have to make it happen. Like literally, I was cussing myself out. Like, you see them homeless people on the side of the street talking to themselves, yelling out loud and all that. I was doing that to myself. Like, hey, get up off your behind and go do something. Hey, I was doing it, man. I had to do it. I had to do it.
I've been too.
Like Brian said, you learn from your previous experiences.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't a good experience, you learn from it. And then you just try to not make that same mistake.
Right. And it's always, sometimes trial and error. You try not to go back. Sometimes things happen. It's like, okay, let's try not to get there again. But Kaneem, I feel you on that, yelling at yourself. I probably look crazy on the side of the road. I'm walking home. I'm like, never again. Never.
Hey, my wife would tell you, if you just ask her just out the blue, right?
Yeah.
What did Kaneem used to do before he used to go to work in the morning? She would tell you straight up, like, are you talking about when he got up? As soon as he got up, he put them feet on the floor, and the first thing out of his mouth, get your punk ass up.
Wow.
I'm talking to myself now. You know what I'm saying?
I got it. Listen, sometimes you gotta be the hardest on yourself.
If I lay in the bed, it's done.
Right.
So as soon as my feet touch the ground, I had to motivate myself. Like, hey, your feet on the ground. Now you stand up.
Right.
Move toward the bathroom. Go ahead and brush your teeth, wash your face.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Where your drawers at? Okay. Go get your pants on. You know what I'm saying? Hey, not literally. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that part out loud. But
I got you. Mine. You kind of talking yourself through
it. Yeah. Let's keep it going. Let's keep going. Get your car. Let's get to work. As soon as I get to work, I'm the life of the party when I get to work.
Right.
What up? Let's get on it. So,
man.
Sometimes you just gotta motivate yourself, man.
You do.
I mean, it's good when other people that love you motivate you.
Right.
And sometimes you gotta have that self motivation.
Right. Yeah, you gotta push yourself. Because I get there.
Yeah. Whatever you have to tell yourself.
Right.
Get it.
Right.
Whatever it
is. Because that's the greatest part about that is what I tell myself is what works for me. Mm-hmm. You may not understand it, but that's because you don't know the story.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love that, man.
Yeah, definitely.
My mom had to say that to herself just to get up and discipline us, to whoop us.
Oh yeah.
Those words for me. Girl, get your blank up and go whip their behind.
That was her motivation. You know what I'm saying?
You don't get them now, they're gonna get you later. Get up, girl.
Yeah. Sometimes it gotta be like that, man.
Right.
It gotta be like that sometimes. But I will say this: for my kids, I was more of their motivator because, except for my youngest daughter, but my oldest two boys, I was their motivator. But now I believe they are starting to be self-motivated. I don't have to tell you to make your bed. Now I can just walk in there and look in the room and be like, oh, you made it bed up. Okay, cool beans. So, I mean, but like you said, it's that consistency of keeping my foot in their behind. Like, hey, come on. Let's do this. I don't know why I got to tell you this every day, but I'm still doing it. I'm still telling you every day.
Right.
But now that they, 16, 17 years old, I think the light switch might just flicked on and be like,
coming on? Oh, man.
I do need to make my bed. I do need to vacuum my floor. I do need to go ahead and wash my behind without somebody telling me. I
Telling
do.
me. Smelling funky. No, it's been 3 days. Get in the shower.
Yeah,
All right, sorry.
hey, my youngest boy, he taking 2 showers. He take a shower when he get home and a shower when he go to school in the morning. I said,
Wow.
oh,
That's
okay,
big
you
time.
super clean now.
Right. He's trying to smell good for somebody.
I can't wait to see what she look like.
So, listen, guys, we appreciate you guys for rocking with us. Another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. Prayerfully, you got something out of this. Find a way. Don't get stuck in your head and your mind. Just keep moving. If you got anything out of it, just keep moving. Keep moving. Don't allow the financial struggles to paralyze you, to keep you from producing more, because it'll get you off track if you focus on the problem and not find a solution. Focus on the problem, not find a solution. All right. Any last words that you want to share? Matt, I put your Instagram. If you want to connect with this brother, I put it in the comment section. So make sure you connect with him.
Appreciate that. Yeah. I had just a couple points I wanted to dive in.
Go ahead, bro.
Really quick, just to close it all out. A couple of things, like where we are is not, it may not be where everybody is. And so what I say may not be applicable to you exactly where you are. There may be some precursor work that you may have to do to get to a space of taking these steps to get into a healthier mind state. So the first thing is gratitude. Like sometimes it takes a lot of us to get to that state of being grateful, because we may have a lot of stuff that's in our way of expressing gratitude. So if you have to get extra help speaking to a counselor, a pastor, whoever else, get to a space where you can detox enough to start expressing gratitude. The second thing is what Kadeem was saying, affirmations. Affirm yourself. Doesn't matter what language, colors, texture you use to express those affirmations, but affirm yourself exactly where you are. When you're in a grateful state, you are ready to accept new realities onto yourself. But if you're not in a grateful state, somebody might be like, hey, man, you look good today. You're like, oh, man, get out of here. You're trying to, And so get into the grateful state first, then affirm yourself. The second thing is embrace the feeling that comes from the gratitude and affirmation. You feel different. So embrace that feeling and make that feeling something that's always available to you. A feeling is just something that you recall, and you pull up to the surface. So recall the best feelings that you want to feel, because that helps you with the next step. When you're in that high, positive, joyful, hopeful feeling, you can plan better. You can speak things into existence more. You can write those things down even more. You can chart, do those things. So now you have a plan. Now you have something in front of you based on gratitude, based on those affirmations, based on feeling the positive feeling. And last thing, which I think is the most important thing, is celebrate yourself, man. Celebrate those small wins. They matter. They count. You woke up, you washed celebrate that. That's a victory. Yeah. That's a victory. Yeah. So celebrate yourself as much as you can, because we can't wait for other people to come in and then see us as doing well. You have to see yourself doing well in those categories as well. And then rinse and repeat as often as you can those steps. As often as you need to, rinse and repeat. Go back to step one. I got to get more gratitude. I got to do this. I got to do that. So those are the 5 points that I want to add in really quick before we close.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
So I got gratitude, affirmation, embrace, or
embrace the feeling. Embrace those feelings. Yeah. And then 4 is
positive feelings.
Yes. And then 4 is plan, speak, write, chart, do whatever you can that will come out, because you're in the healthiest state to create. We can't create in a negative mind state. All we're doing is creating more negativity in that negative mind state. And then the last part is make sure you celebrate, because we need to be celebrated as Black men, as men in general. We need to celebrate ourselves first. So be willing to celebrate yourself. Doesn't matter how small it is. Listen, you take that toothbrush and you get a couple strokes in, boom! You did that. Brought to you by Spectrum. So celebrate yourself, and then repeat it as often as you have to, as often as you need to. Repeat those steps, and you'll find yourself in a different state in a matter of weeks, months, or however long it takes.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Wonderful. That was good. Awesome. All right. Appreciate you guys for rocking and hanging with us. Listen, as always, make sure you share, because sharing is caring. Make sure you're tagging other people and letting everybody know that we are here. Make sure you are connected to our text community. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. Never miss a broadcast happening on the Legacy Walker Network. What is that last comment? Appreciate you, Mama Corey. Awesome conversation. She also, let's see, where was it at? Oh, I lost it. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys for being here. And if you looked in the comments, I pinned them both on Facebook and in YouTube. We want to continue to bring broadcasts like this and bring more of experts out and great talent. And only you, I can't even come up with a good line right there. But make sure you're supporting. We appreciate your support being here. We also appreciate your financial support. Go to the link. It's a Linktree app. It gives you an opportunity to either through the Cash App or through PayPal. I got PayPal now. So do that and be a great contributor and supporter. And making a pledge of every $100 will get a free 2022-2023 Brothers of Legacy t-shirt similar to this. All right, so make sure you contribute today. All right, so we appreciate you. Thank you for rocking with us and hanging with us. Another edition of Brothers of Legacy. All hearts and minds are clear. Wonderful. All right, so know that we love you, but Jesus loves you better. Stay safe and make sure you make good choices. 988 having mental health crisis. Personally, or if you know someone that's having a mental health crisis, make sure you dial 988. All right, guys, take care. Peace out.